So, Father Kelvin Monteiro, good evening, and
Good evening.
Yeah, nice to meet you and learn about
Same here.
Rotti magazine, which you have published for the last 100 years. It has been in print. So, you're the publisher and the printer of the magazine.
Yeah, I'm the publisher and the printer.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Rotti is a monthly periodical which has two primary goals. First, it's to promote the devotion to Sacred Heart of Jesus, and secondly, it is to propagate the teachings of the Catholic faith among the Konkani-speaking people. The history of Rotti dates back to 1915, when it began in Karachi. A priest, an elderly priest by name Father Vincent Lobo, who's actually originally Goan from Sangolda, when he took over as a curator of St. Patrick Church, he realized there were many people who knew Konkani and they had no literature that would satiate, that would quench their thirst for spiritual knowledge. And so he started this in the 1915. Even though he himself was not good at Konkani, he actually had to learn Konkani so that he could work on publishing this magazine. So he began this magazine in the year 1915, and for the next 7 years, till 1922, till his death, he managed this magazine. So with his passing, the next priest also from the same parish and from his same village, Sangolda,
St. Patrick's
took over.
St. Patrick's is a very big kind of cathedral now.
It's a main church there now in Karachi. Yeah, and this priest, Father Ludwig Pereira, took over from Father Vincent Lobo in the year 1922, and he also managed it till his last breath. He managed it for 14 years.
I see. And you have issues going back to those days also?
Yeah, we have issues right from the year 1915 till date.
What was the price of a copy then?
Originally 1 rupee issue, 10 rupee yearly subscription.
Now it's 10 rupees and 100 rupees.
Now it's 10 rupees issue and 100 rupees annual subscription. This is 12 issues. So if you calculate, even it doesn't fall 10 rupees a issue.
Okay.
Because if there are 12 issues printed every year.
So what are the challenges you all are facing? I've seen that you've done it up and it looks very good.
Challenges as in we have from the time we took over the last 5 years, we have streamlined the magazine. We have somehow organized it systematically under certain categories. We call them series. There are series on various things, like we have a series on Pope's monthly intention. Every month Pope has 2 intentions. Then we have every month a series on devotion to Sacred Heart of Jesus. That has been and that will continue to be the focus of the magazine. Then we also help people to make a reflection on the biblical passages, especially the Sunday Gospel. We have a lot of series on about the Bible, how people need to learn more about Bible and apply it to their life. Every month has a series on the month of the saint of the month. We pick up one saint of that month and we give his spiritual life. Then whenever there has been any special anniversaries or special years, we dedicate or we have a special series for it. For example, when the diocese announced a year of youth, we focused on youth. When it was a year of priests, we interviewed priests.
And this is all in the Romi Konkani?
It's all in Romi Konkani.
Yeah. So are there any special challenges when it comes to readership, getting writers? Because increasingly English is kind of...
It is a challenge to get writers. But by and large, we have regular writers who write to us on regular basis. In fact, we have a team of 10 dedicated contributors, dedicated workers who collaborate with us. So Rotti is a work of collaboration with the Jesuits and the laity. So we cannot actually function without them because they provide us the support to carry on this work.
And the editor, of course, is Father Rego.
Editor is Father Vasco Rego,
Yeah.
the octogenarian. He is almost 82 plus
Yeah.
or 84, but he is doing it. In fact, this is his lifeline. I think what keeps him going is this magazine.
He's a very interesting personality and a very powerful character. I've kind of recorded his speech which he gave when he was being felicitated at the Dalgard Konkani Academy.
Okay.
And he spoke about his life journey and how Konkani, how he grew interested in Konkani.
Wow.
And things like that.
In fact, this Dalgado has, I've got here the news item, Dalgado has given us the award under the category of Dalgado Company Institution Award 2013 for Rotti being the longest surviving magazine.
100 years is not a long time. What's the history in terms of Karachi, Bombay, Goa, diocese, Jesuits?
Yeah, so as I said, it began in the year 1915 in the diocese of Karachi, and it remained in Karachi for 38 and a half years. In 1953, it was moved to Bombay. Now, what led to this change of administration from Karachi to Bombay was the historical period of 1947, wherein the United British India was divided into two independent nations, Pakistan and India. So Karachi was Pakistan. Now the problem was the magazine was being printed and published in Karachi, but the majority of its readers, basically the people of Bombay and Goa, were from outside that nation. So communication became increasingly difficult to send the subscription from Bombay, Goa to Karachi, and for the magazines to come from Karachi to Bombay, Goa. And so the then Archbishop of Bombay,
Cardinal
Gracious, thought that it would be more fruitful to move the administration from Karachi to Bombay.
The magazine itself.
The whole magazine itself.
Yeah.
So in 1953, it was moved from Karachi to Bombay.
Just by way of background, it probably needs to be said that Karachi was a big center of Goan migration.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe at its peak having 20,000-30,000 Goans, I don't know.
Yes, should be,
Something
in fact, while it was in Karachi, the circulation itself was around 12,000.
I see.
Readership would be definitely much more than that, but the printing itself was 12,000 issues.
So now what's the number over the years? I mean,
the maximum we have reached is 3,000. We haven't yet crossed 3,000. In the recent years, we have touched 3,000.
But I think it needs to be said that in the last few years, it has also made an amazing comeback because people,
it has indeed.
People had written it off, and I mean, it was not spoken about. Now you find it.
Yeah, very true, very true. And also, most of the Sundays, I make it a point to go to different parishes and propagate this magazine.
I see.
And I'm trying to create some awareness. In fact, what surprises me the most is many people are not aware of this. True. Except the generation, who had read this in their younger days.
It needs to be said that maybe in the 70s, 60s, there was a huge section of Goan population that depended on Romi Konkani, especially among the Catholic community.
That is true.
As the only access to knowledge.
Very true.
Which is no longer the case.
Now. Yeah,
but that's not an excuse for junking the language or
That is true. In fact, I'm surprised sometimes when I go to promote this magazine, people ask me, isn't the same magazine existing in English?
I see.
So this is something that and our younger generation, for example, it's basically this magazine is read more by if I'm not mistaken, around 30 plus, 40 plus. The younger generation hardly has this taste for reading Konkani.
So this is your commitment, the Jesuits' commitment to Konkani as such?
Yes, we have been managing this magazine for the last 50 years.
I see.
Bombay, what happened, to continue with the history I was telling you, in Bombay it was being managed by Father Elias de Souza, who actually was also the editor in Karachi. He was moved to Bombay. But then he fell seriously ill in 1960. And so May 1960 saw the last publication from Bombay. And for the sake of the want of editor, the magazine had to be literally stopped.
I see.
So from May 1960 to June 1964, we do not have Rotti in circulation.
I see.
In fact, because of this, Rotti lost the glory of its 50 years of its celebration, of its publication, because it would have been in 1965, but the magazine stopped in 1960. In 1964, we had a very visionary provincial of Goa Pune province, Father Charlie Gomes, who later on became the Bishop of Gujarat Ahmedabad. Now he felt that this, in fact he was a Karachi boy.
I see.
And in his younger days he had seen the great influence that magazine had on the people there.
A lot of Karachi Jesuits came over to India after.
Very true, very true, very true.
Particularly Gujarat, I think.
Particularly Gujarat. Most of them were in Gujarat. Most of them were in Gujarat, yeah. So he decided to bring or revive this Dad magazine again. And he requested Father Moreno de Souza.
Correct. From Goa.
From Goa, a Goa Jesuit, to take over this magazine.
Who was in Goa then?
Who was in Goa. He was actually in the education field at that time.
Where?
He was in Bicholi.
A Lady of Grace.
Yes, he was in Bicholi, and from there he was given this responsibility. As a result, he was brought to Old Goa.
I see.
At the Basilica. So the first issue of it in 1964, July 1964, was the first issue that was published from the Basilica of Jesus. And from July 1964 to July 2006, for 42 long years, he managed this magazine single-handedly.
From the Basilica always?
No. First 18 years from the Basilica. Then in 1982, he was transferred to the neighboring house here, that is Xavier Center Historical Research. And he managed it from 1982 to 1996 from that house. And then in 1996 it was moved back to Basilica because they also realized that the accessibility of this place to the public was very difficult. Whereas Basilica was the center, and so it was easy for people to reach and to give their subscription and be, also it was easily accessible. So 1996 he was moved back to Basilica, and from then till 2006 he managed it from Basilica. So from July 1964 to July 2006 he managed the magazine for 42 years.
I see.
Now in July, somewhere around May, June, he fell seriously ill.
Okay.
And so someone had to
step in.
And so the magazine from Basilica was once again moved to this house, Thomas Stephen Cockney Kendra.
Yeah.
And it was edited and published by Father Matthew Almeida. And we Jesuit made a contract with the diocese and requested for services of one of the diocesan priests, Father Ave Maria, as executive editor.
Okay.
So the contract was to end in April 2009. So it was 2006 to 2009, a 3 years contract. But in February 2009, Father Matthew Almeida died, passed away. And so in 2009, February, or rather April, the contract of this priest got over. Now there was a big question, a big vacuum. Would this again go through the history of 1960 where it had to be stopped?
So how did you and Father Ego enter?
Yeah, so what happened was we at the Jesuit Circle had a meeting wherein we began to discuss about the future of this magazine. And there was this feeling that if we cannot manage it, we should give it away to the diocese, so that diocese could handle it, because diocese would have the resources.
Yeah.
But then I personally, talking about my personally, I felt that it would be a great loss for Rotti and for the Jesuits if it would be, kind of stopped or, be given up.
Yeah, or shrunken.
And so I went and met my former provincial, Father Tony Da Silva, and I told him that I am willing to shoulder the responsibility of managing the magazine with collaboration from Father Vasco Rego, a seasoned Konkani writer, an octogenarian,
who was still busy in those days, no, at the Basilica, or he had retired?
He was retired. He was residing at the Jesuit House Penjim, where he continues to reside. So he came in, he chipped in as the editor
I see.
of the magazine. I chipped in as the managing editor, the publisher and the printer.
I see.
And we took a team of collaborators. From
a lot of lay people, yeah.
Yeah, from lay people. We have a 10-member team.
Walter Menezes, I saw that in all.
Walter Menezes is there. Celsa Lopez is there. Then we have Brenda Menezes, wife of Walter Menezes. We have a young chap by name Elton Fernandez. Then Cusino Pinno, Marcus Andrade, Vinci Quadros, Almir Fadalmi de Souza, Fadazuza Dias.
A lot of people active in the world of Konkani writing.
Almost all of them. All of them active in the world of Konkani writing. Yes. And they support this magazine by way of contribution. And sometimes we don't have original Konkani writing, so we take the assistance from them, translate from English to Konkani.
Just one issue which we had raised a bit earlier, like a magazine like The Examiner is such a vibrant magazine because not only does it pick up the most interesting religious and community news, but it also has these advertisements which not only are earning revenue but also attracting a different set of readership.
Yeah.
So can you, I mean, are you all open to that kind of model?
As of now, the editor is not in favor of having advertisements being printed on the magazine. We want to purely keep it the literature, the spiritual content part of it. And with regards to Examiner, it being in English, obviously there is a wider readership. Because the fact is, the readership of Konkani is not as great as English.
Numbers do matter. Numbers do matter.
Yeah, the numbers do matter. That's why, as I told you, when I go to promote the magazine, the first question they ask me is this existing in English?
Yeah.
You know. So content-wise, it has a very meaningful, enriching, reflective, thought-provoking write-ups, which can really help someone to reflect and to to enrich his own life.
At another level, it's also promoting the language in the sense
it's also promoting the language.
People who are not familiar would be able to get familiar with.
And I know some people who have not been familiar with reading, but they have made extra additional efforts to read and try to learn even Konkani by reading Dormina and Chiroti.
It's not very tough because the language is simple, and the script is also
it's a simple
Roman script
form of Konkani. And we have, as I was telling you, we have also worked a lot on its ghetto, on its presentation. Like this year, for the first time, we have also increased the size of the magazine. Although for the last 99 years it has been this size, and this year 2014 we have increased the size of this magazine so that we can include more content in it and we could make it more attractive. And also we have decided, for example, the next issue will have a middle colored page.
I see.
Now and then we also decided to have a colored page. We cannot really afford to have this magazine fully colorful because of the finances, but we make efforts to make it as attractive as possible. We do have images in it which are basically black and white, but we now want to work on making it also middle page as a color page for this magazine.
And if anyone wants an overseas subscription, what's the
yes, we do have overseas subscribers. We charge them 500 rupees
with postage.
With postage, which is minimal because we have to put around 35 rupees stamp on it. So we don't really earn. In fact, earning has never been an issue or a reason for this magazine. If you take that issue, you cannot run a magazine of 12 issues in a month of 44 pages for 10 rupees a issue.
True.
So the purpose here is to reach it out to as many people as possible so that it helps them to renew their own spiritual life, help them to live as good Catholics and good citizens and good human beings.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.